One careless mouth nearly destroyed an entire village. Not with weapons, not with war, but with words. In a quiet African community surrounded by thick forests and red earth parts, there lived a man named Okoro. Okoro was in his early 40s, strong, healthy, and always dressed in bright Ankara. He was not poor, he was not lazy. In fact, if you met Okoro for the first time, you might even like him. But the village knew him for one thing: his mouth never rested. He talked in the morning, he talked in the afternoon, he talked deep into the night. If you greeted Okoro, he would turn it into a long discussion. If you told him a secret, the secret would not survive till evening. If something happened in the village, Okoro would add his own version and spread it wider. People laughed about it. Now Okoro radio station, they joked. If him keep quiet, make you know say something don't spoil. Okoro laughed too. He saw his talking as harmless. After all, words never kill anyone, he believed. But what Okoro did not know was that his village was standing on a fragile piece, one protected by silence. Long before Okoro was born, the community had survived a devastating war between two powerful kindreds, Umuala and Umweze. The war nearly destroyed everything. Crops failed, blood was spilled, families were wiped out. In the middle of that chaos, something even worse happened. The true royal bloodline was completely wiped out. When the fighting ended, the elders faced an impossible choice. Without a king, the land would break apart. The kindred would rise again. Another war would follow. So they made a forbidding decision. They secretly crowned a child from Umuala as king and declared him divinely chosen. To protect the throne, they sealed the decision with sacred oaths and ancestral rituals. From that day onward, every king ruled not by royal blood, but by covenants. The truth was buried. Only the king and the council of chiefs carried the burden of that secret. They knew that if it ever escaped, the throne would be rejected, the kindred would fight again, the ancestral path would break, and the land would lose its protection. Peace depended on silence. One evening, Okoro passed near the council hut and overheard fragments of a conversation he was never meant to hear. He did not understand everything. He did not hear the full truth. But what he heard was enough to create suspicion. Instead of keeping quiet, Okoro did what he had always done. He talked. Have you heard? He whispered loudly. They said the king not be real king. Long time ago, throne changed hands secretly. By morning, the story had spread. Suspicion crept into conversations. Old wounds reopened. People began to look at one another with distrust. Arguments started. The air itself felt heavy. Meetings turned tense. Market quarrels became louder. Old rivalries resurfaced. The king knew immediately this is not ordinary gossip. He said gravely, someone is reopening a wound that nearly destroyed us. The council of chiefs agreed. An emergency meeting was called, and by evening, the source of the rumors was traced back to one man, Okoro. He was summoned to the council hall at dawn. The atmosphere was heavy. Elders sat in silence. Youth leaders stood at the back. Women who had lived through the old war wiped quiet tears. Okoro tried to explain himself. He talked and talked and talked. But for the first time in his life, nobody listened. An elder stood up slowly and spoke. You did not understand what you heard, he said, but you understood enough to destroy peace. The punishment was not violence. It was not death. It was worse for a man like Okoro. Okoro was stripped of his voice in the community. He was banned from all gatherings, forbidden from speaking at meetings, ignored whenever he opened his mouth. If Okoro spoke, people walked away. If he argued, nobody responded. If he shouted, silence answered him. The man who lived by his mouth and had been defeated by it. He returned to the village alive, untouched, but socially erased. Children stared in confusion. Adults avoided his gaze. Nobody joked with him anymore. Peace slowly returned. Suspicion settled. The old secret sank back into silence. From that day, Okoro walked the village paths quietly, not because he could not speak, but because no one would listen. Until today, elders still warn, not every truth is meant to be spoken. Some secrets are buried so a community may live. And when words threaten peace, silence becomes sacred. If you enjoyed the story, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss any new upload. Till I bring another story your way, remain blessed. Thank you. Bye.